Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm just going to let everyone jump on. We are doing some information on clearing your space tonight. Some basic top 10 things that I like to share when people want to clear their space. My name is Jody Harvilla, psychic medium, spiritual teacher. Say hello in the comments. I'm using StreamYard tonight. And so if you haven't registered at StreamYard.com, I just won't see your name. I can still see your comments, though. But say hello so I can see who is joining me. There we go. Now some people are jumping on. Hi, Zaina. Good to see you. Hey, Kelly. Good to see you. It's been a while, girl. Elise and Sabrina. Hello, hello. All right. I see a bunch of you jumping on. Say hello. Hello, Miss Karen and Amy. Hola. I love Facebook for this fun stuff. Hey, Miss Tangi. Good to see you too, sister. Oh, no, a whole bunch of people are coming on. Hopefully I don't miss your name. Miss Cindy and Amy. Chanel? Did I say that right? Miss Amy. Hello, hello. Miss Brittany. Hello, everybody. Good to see everyone. Donna and Michelle and Linda. That's funny you guys jumped on at the same time. Miss Peggy. Hello. All right, if we get any weirdos that jump on and want you to message them right away for a reading or things like that, every once in a while we get that kind of shit come on. I'm just going to block them, but please ignore them. I would never do that. That's not somebody I know. Okay. Foggy Southern Alberta. Hello, hello. It is beautiful in Fargo today. We had some pretty snow. We had a beautiful weekend. We went ice fishing and I went cross country skiing, and we rented a little cabin out by the lake, and it was so fun, and just like it was a beautiful weekend to be outside. And my son, did you guys all hear my son went in the ditch? Got a call at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, scared the shit out of me and him, of course. All was totally fine, but I don't like getting those middle of the night calls. I do not like it. And I often turn off my phone. And I told them that. I was like, thank God my phone was on, because I don't always leave my ringer on, and I must have forgot to turn it off. Or maybe I might have just intentionally left it on because I knew he was, that we were out of town and stuff. And he said, oh, Mom, I got a whole bunch of people I could have called. And he gave me like the list of people that he would have called. I'm like, okay, at least he's got brain enough to do that. Yeah, he was fine. I guess he came off, it's so slippery when you come off like to go on to the interstate in some of those spots. And then he flipped around once, and then he landed with his ass end of the truck into the ditch. And then happily, it was so nice because I wish I knew who he was. But a cop was driving by and stopped and made sure he was okay. And then I bet he saw how young he was, because he's not quite 17 yet. And he sat with him until the tow truck came. It's not nice. I thought that was awesome. I was like, that is awesome. I wish I knew who that cop was. So as far as a scary experience, yes, could have been much worse. So everything is good. And then this is my favorite part of the whole thing. And I literally laughed out loud in the middle of the night. So it took maybe an hour or something for the tow truck to get there. Not long at all, really. And I said, do you have your debit card with you? Because you're going to have to pay them. And I didn't really think of anything because we have it on our insurance. You just pay it, then they reimburse you. But I didn't tell him that. And if you have little ears, plug them for a second. But I get a text like 10 minutes after, and he had to pay it. And he goes, Mom, it's fucking $300. Oh my God, I lost it. I laughed so hard. And then he goes, I don't even care that I swore. And I just busted out laughing. And I was like, this is why we don't want you going in the ditch. But he was out of town. It was late at night. And oh my God, it was so funny. Oh, I was just cracking up at that. So he did not care for that. So now he keeps asking how long it takes to get reimbursed. Oh my God, it was so funny. Yep, he's totally fine. Totally fine. Truck is totally fine. I actually drove it today. So, yep, he's good. And he got back in the car and drove back out there. So it didn't some kids kind of stiffen up and won't drive again. And he got right back in and drove again, which I think is important, especially in North Dakota. Like you got to know how to drive. And it can happen to anyone. Going in the ditch is not just, it can happen to anyone. I'm just glad he didn't flip the truck or anything. All right. Hello, everybody. So I was sharing about my son went in the ditch this weekend and he's totally fine. Truck is fine. All is well. But we had beautiful weather and now we're back home today and we're getting ready for the Chinese New Year, which is next Sunday. Okay. So that is when the lunar energy shifts of the year. So we have our calendar date that shifts on December 31st, right? On our New Year's Eve calendar. But when I got into kind of this more of the energy work a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago now, I would notice on New Year's Eve, I was like, it just feels like something's not, like it just doesn't feel like the new year yet. And I remember talking about this with friends. And then I was taught that the Chinese New Year is when the actual energy shifts. And I was like, oh, that's what it was. And so I celebrate both because they both feel like they need celebration. And over the years, I've learned just some little tips and tricks, just some basic stuff. And I thought it's really fun to teach everyone about some of these fun little things that we do. And I wanted to start with some basics on getting your space ready and just general clearing. So some of you will know a lot of this, but I always teach that go back to the foundation and just go with the foundation and the basics and do the best you can with them. And then you can add on some of the fun things. We actually created a cool PDF, and then you'll get the one that I'm going through tonight and a clearing meditation for you for the Chinese New Year. Here, I'll put the link up. You might not get to see the link until I'm not on here, but we created it and we made it super cheap. It's only $8, but it's a half an hour clearing. It's a 30-minute clearing plus 2 PDFs that have to do with clearing your space and specific things about the Chinese New Year. So if you want some more specifics on the Chinese New Year stuff that you can do, go ahead and grab that offer, that bundle that we put together for you. Okay. All right. So how many of you that are on live, how many of you actually like clear your houses in some way, shape, or form? Like how many of you do sage or something? Give me a little measurement here. How many of you actually pay attention to the energy of your house? Again, some of the stuff I'm going to do tonight is pretty general, and but it's really, I think it helps with the foundation. And when you start with the basics, you just keep building up from there. Sometimes me, yep. Don't know how to do it, yep. Sage in my house randomly. Sage I do often. Sage spray, yep. Open the windows when it's nice, yep. All of it works, you guys. You do, yes. Good. How many of you have never cleared your house or don't know what I'm talking about? Which is totally fine. How many of you? I never knew. Before all this, I was like, what do you mean clear my house? We had our house cleared because we had a ghost in the house. That's how I got into all this. It was super funny. Like I was just starting to open up to some of this stuff, and we saw ghosts in my house. And we actually had a bat in the house, and then we saw a ghost in the house, and I had someone come over to clear my house, and that's how I got into all this craziness. It's not craziness, but window spray, have me do it. Fresh flowers, yes, yes. Cleared my old house every full moon. Stopped when I moved here. You should keep going with it, Janice. You know you love to do it. Yeah, I'll tell you about my ghost story in just 1 second here. Never cleared. Okay. Oh yeah, the bat was way worse than the ghost. Way worse. Lisa goes, hard to say what's worse, the bat or the ghost. So my son was little. He was still on a bottle. So I think he was maybe 6 months old, maybe. And it, it was so funny because I went to make him a bottle in the morning and there was a bat in my sink. And I just about flew out of my skin. I'm not into bats, not into mice. And symbolically fine with them. They have cool magic symbology. I don't want the real ones in my house. And so I had this bat in the house. So smart me went and grabbed like 17 towels out of my bathroom and threw it over the bat so he couldn't escape the sink. And I called Eli at work. He worked at Grandma's restaurant at the time. And I was like, oh my God, you have to come home right now, right now, right now. You have to come home right now. And he thought something was wrong with Foster. And he's like, take a breath. What's going on? You know, he scared shit out of him. And I was like, oh my God, there's a bat in the house. There's a bat in the house. And oh God, he was laughing so hard. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you get your ass home right now and get this bat out of the house. And so he's like, well, where is it? And I'm like, I have it in the sink and it's covered in towels. And he's like, well, can't it just stay there? I'm like, no. So I made him come home from work, take the bat, get it out of the house. And then it came back because bats just come back. And so then it was flying through the house at one point, and I had all the windows and doors open trying to get it out of the house. And then he got it out again. And then we went to sleep one night, and I heard this noise in the upstairs, and I ran into the hallway to see what it was. And I looked in Foster's room, and there was a ghost sitting in the rocking chair. And I looked away, and I was looking at the bat, and I looked in his room again, still saw the ghost, and I looked away, and I looked again, and I was like, oh my God, there's a ghost in the room of the baby, and I didn't want the bat to get in there. So I slammed his door shut, and then I ran into the bathroom and slammed that door because I didn't want the bat on me. And then I'm screaming 2 a.m. at Eli, oh my God, there's a ghost in the house, there's a bat in the house, get up. And so he had to get up, figure out the bat, and then he didn't even think about the ghost because he's like, you are crazy. And then the next day I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, oh my God, I saw a ghost last night. And I remember exactly what she looked like. She was tall and skinny. She had long gray hair, and she was peaceful. She wasn't creepy or like she didn't like she startled me, but she didn't scare me because she was sitting and looking at Foster's crib. And so to me, it was more like she was just watching over him, right? She's like, get the bat out of your house. And oh, does my sound keep cutting out? How's that, you guys? It's probably because I'm yelling. And so I had to get my house cleared to get the ghost out of my house. And it introduced me to this woman that taught about space clearing. And then the space clearing, I started doing that. But the ghost story was so interesting because 5 years later, I was talking to my neighbor outside, and she said, you know, we always felt like it was something weird in that house when the wife died. And we didn't know if she was pushed down the steps or fell down the steps or something. She said there was always this weird thing. And I was like, what does that lady look like? And sure shit, she explained exactly how I explained her. And my face was like gray because she goes, why do you look like that? And I'm like, oh, I totally saw her in my house. And I was explaining what she looked like to me. And she's like, yeah, that was her. That was her. So yeah, we definitely we've had a few ghosts in our house, actually. We live across the street from a church. And so we've had a haunted house for a long time. It's much better now, obviously. Okay, you guys sound as good now? Okay. It's probably because I was yelling. Okay, so yes, that's how I got into space clearing, and some of the things that were so interesting to me when I got into space clearing, we were really struggling when I got into this work, like really, 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 really were struggling, and I remember telling Eli, we are doing everything right. We are good people. We are nice people. We do things for others. We work really hard. Like we're both workers. We're not lazy. We're good parents. Like I kept telling him we're missing something. There's something that is missing, and I don't know what it is, but I know we're missing some piece of this. And when I got into space clearing, I remember realizing, oh my God, this is the piece. Like, this is the piece. This is the piece that we're missing, is that we don't pay attention to the energy of anything because we just didn't know. It's not taught anywhere. And unless you fall into it or your spirit brings you to it, like you don't really know. And I just thought, oh my God, that is when everything started to change, when I started to learn about the energy of things. And it made so much sense to me. So that is why I'm so obnoxious about talking about it, and people should get their spaces cleared and la la la, because it made such a difference. And even, I mean, we still talk about that, and just so many cool things happened to us after that. And so that story was really pivotal, like seeing that ghost and all that stuff, because I wasn't doing this work at that time. And it really shoved me into this work, thank God. And so ghosts can be kind of there for a good thing too, you guys, sometimes. Sometimes it is introducing and pushing the door open to something that's supposed to support you and help you, and learning about mediumship and seeing signs from my loved ones. Biggest gift ever, because I've had so much death now in my life. I'm like, oh, thank God I know that. I feel bad for people that don't have a faith or belief in that. I do. I feel really bad about that. And so when I talk about these basics, you're going to be like, really? Like, is that it? And I'm going to be like, yeah, pay attention to it. Okay. All right. So, top 10 things that I feel is a great way to start paying attention to the energy. So, before you do some of these things, you guys, you may want to just sit in your house and feel what your house feels like. Okay. And I know that sounds funny, but like, walk around your house. Notice if certain corners feel darker, or if going down the steps to your basement feels like there's like it slows down, or it's kind of like walking through mud, or some of that kind of stuff. Like, notice. I talked to a woman today. I just cleared her house, and she had this back room, and she's like, can't even go in that room. She's like, it literally physically makes her ill to go in there. And so as I was clearing, I had her walk through it, and we went kind of through this exercise. And it was so cool because she could feel the energy clearing off. And so you want to pay attention to how your house feels before you do some of this stuff, and then how it feels after. That's also very much training your intuition. And it's allowing you to learn the energy of things. Okay. All right. So one of the first things that, and again, these are easy things, you guys. So one of the first things is light a candle. Fire is transformational. And so a lot of people, and you can do unscented candles, you can do scented candles. The one I use in my she shed is actually like a pine smell, because I think pine is a very clearing energy for me. And so if I'm about to set an intention, or even while I'm cleaning my house and things like that, I like the energy of fire. It just naturally, I'm a Leo, so I like fire. And so naturally, I think fire just transforms the energy in a room. Obviously, you need to be careful. Don't burn your house down. And they have tons of different kinds of candles these days that you can do. You can make your own, all that kind of cool stuff. And I like to have a candle burning in whichever room I'm working in. Okay. You don't have to do that, but that's how I do it. That's just an example. Some people have very specific candles that they use for clearing work. Some people just use whatever they have in the house. And so I also think that in the evening, when it's just getting dark, it's such a peaceful time in the day that lighting some candles, we used to do that when our kids were little. Like, we'd eat supper, and then we'd start to turn the lights down, and then we'd light a couple candles, and we would like set the mood in the house, because when you can kind of set the energy in the house, and you're using physical things that you can see, you can smell it, you can hear it because you can hear the flames, that helps to bring your feelings and senses out as well. And it brings kind of a calming energy to the room. And the fire is transmuting energy because that's what fire does. Okay. So I think lighting a candle can be very powerful. Ooh, sage and cedar candle. Yep, it's a really great addition to your bedtime routine, especially with kids. Obviously, you have the candles where the kids can't see them. But I used to use candles a lot when I was had little kids at home. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Number 2, flowers and plants. So my grandma was amazing with plants. My mom is very good with plants. My aunt's very good with plants. I am not. I knew though that my house needed some life in it, and it needed some continuous life in it. And so when I started to bring a few plants into my house, I actually went to the florist and I'm like, listen, like I kill plants, like I kill a lot of things. So tell me the plants that are super easy, that you water once a week, and if you forget, they're not going to be dead in 3 days. And so they actually were super helpful. They gave me some super 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 easy plants just to add a little life to the house when I am creating in creation mode, or like this weekend is like a energy thing, or on the full moon or things like that. I will go and buy some flowers. Number one, I like flowers. I know people think, oh, they just die and they're a waste of money. Whatever. I really like them. And I like having them in my house. There's something about them. I like the energy of them. They feel abundant to me. And so I bring in plants and I bring in fresh flowers when I'm creating something. So if I'm doing a big launch, or I have a big class coming up or something, that's part of my abundance routine. Is I go buy some really great flowers, and it could be from the grocery store. A lot of times I just get the cheap ones from the grocery store. Costco has great flowers. They actually have great plants too. And they're usually discounted and things like that. You can always, I like to encourage my clients to trade different little plant cuttings with their friends. I think that's really fun, because then you can, hey, I have an aloe vera plant and I have this plant, and you can trade the little babies. And so sometimes it's like an exchange of love as well. Again, new life coming in and having this great energy of life and growth. And you need to nurture it. So it reminds you to be nurturing. You need to feed it good food, like all the kinds of things. And I think it's a very basic thing that can shift the energy of your house a lot. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a Trader Joe's. I so wish we did. Peace plant. Yep, I love those. Yep, we're talking about Chinese New Year. Yep. I do like the Trader Joe's flowers, so I always buy them in the cities when I'm there. Love fresh flowers. Yep. I think fresh flowers also in North Dakota. I think having some green plants, living things in our house, I think it's great for that winter depression that comes on people. I think it's really helpful to have some green in your house when we don't see the sun for weeks on end. For me, that's one of the reasons I like flowers in the wintertime, is because it reminds me spring's coming. It will come. It might take a little bit, but it's coming. And so I buy the really pretty fresh flowers. Okay. Yep. Plants in every room. And it's great for the air. It's really good. A lot of people don't open their windows in the wintertime. And so plants can help with that piece too. Okay. All right. Plants. Light a candle, get some flowers or plants. Number 3, open a window. I really think that's one of the easiest ways to clear the energy in your house. Open a window. And today it was funny. I was telling this client, I'm like, hey, can you open the window in that bedroom? And she's like, yeah, no, it's frozen shut. And she tried like all these different windows, and it was warm this weekend and now it's cooler. And so she just couldn't get the windows open. I said, just go open the door. And I said, intentionally stand there for a second. And then when you open the door, and intend for that negative energy to leave, or dense energy to leave, like she felt the whoosh of the energy leaving. And so I actually have my windows open daily. drives my husband batty. Hates it. But I feel such a difference when I have the windows open for 10 minutes. You can just air out the room and then close them again. And if there's a blizzard, always open my windows. If there's a thunderstorm, always open my windows. If I'm saging my house, I open all the windows and all the doors. And it usually takes me maybe half an hour to sage my house. And I will keep them open the whole time because I just think it helps to move the energy out. The only part of my house that I can't open the windows is all the basement ones are pretty much sealed in the wintertime and they're covered with snow. But the rest of the house, I open the windows at least for 10 minutes almost daily. Okay. I actually sleep with my bedroom window open too, but don't mention that to Eli because I do it after he falls asleep. Yep, just for a couple minutes, see if it makes a difference in your energy, Brittany. You're pretty sensitive, so it might do something to shift some of that energy. I know people freak out when I tell them to open their windows and their doors, especially in the wintertime, but I still think it helps. Oftentimes, even if it's below zero, I still will open them just for a little bit, It lets your house breathe. And sometimes if you're a shallow breather, it reminds you to breathe too. Like there's always two sides to why I'm having you guys do this stuff. Okay. Yeah, you do have to remember to close them. I've done that too. I've done that upstairs. I had them both open and oh my God, it was freezing. But yeah, open. Okay. But windy days, fantastic time to open your windows. Fantastic. Again, even if it's just for a couple minutes, but that wind coming through your house, it is taking shit away. So it's a great, great basic thing to do to clear the energy in your house. You know, isn't that funny? Those husbands don't like us when we talk about this. Okay. This one I always think is funny, but this has been something since I started clearing houses. And I used to not talk about it because I thought people would think I'm weird. Shocking, I am weird. But I ended up talking to one of my mentors, Wes Hamilton, about it one night. And I was like, hey, Wes, what do you think about this? And he started laughing and he goes, oh, yeah, 1,000%. I believe that. And I was like, really? So one of the things that I think is absolutely magical, and I don't know why, is to run your vacuum. Vacuum your floors and move everything around and really get in there and vacuum things. But I think vacuums are magical. I don't know why. I've always felt this ever since I was a little kid. And then when I started to really get into the clearing piece of it, that's one of my favorite things to do is just go vacuum. Number one, it leaves nice lines in your rugs, right? But there is something about running a vacuum. And I remember I kept telling people this when I was clearing houses. That's how Wes and I got into the conversation about it. And I was like, Wes, every single time, like I feel like I'm telling these people their houses are dirty and it has nothing to do with that piece. There's just something about running a vacuum. And he started laughing. He goes, yeah, I've always thought vacuums are magical. And I was like, oh, thank God there's another person that thinks the same. And so I just feel like there's something with vacuums, there's something in the vibration or the energy or whatever. And what's really funny is when I'm clearing energetically, like if I'm working on someone's body or their house or something, I also vacuum energetically in my head too. Like I have an energy thing that I do that looks like a vacuum. And so I think it crosses all the borders, body, mind, and spirit. But I really think vacuuming can shift the energy of a room really, really, really fast. Plus, it looks clean too then, right? And I was just telling a girl today, depending on the kind of vacuum you have, sometimes I'll take a little bit of essential oil on my fingers and I'll put it like, my vacuum now doesn't have a bag, but I used to just put it on the bag, or I'll put it like on the side where the dirt comes in, but I'll put it somewhere so that scent can be kind of spread around the house too. Don't put it on your filters of your vacuum. You will break your vacuum. I did that. Don't do that. But you can do that. Okay. It also burns calories. That's right. Yes. Cotton pad in the canister. Great idea, Sue. That's a really good idea. Duh. Sweeping. Absolutely. Don't sweep on the Chinese New Year though. Okay. So no sweeping on Sunday. But yeah, sweeping, I see my she shed, I sweep it all the time. And I actually bought an old style broom, like a witch broom. So I always sweep. But yep, sweep, dust, same thing. Absolutely. Oh, a dryer sheet around your filter. That's a good idea. Yeah, don't do that. I used to put a couple drops on your filter and it just messes with your filter. So don't do that. Okay, so you're going to run your vacuum. And then, of course, dusting. Dusting is really easy. Some people love it, some people don't. But I think dusting your shelves, straightening your books. In feng shui, they actually tell you to bring your books out to the edge of the shelf instead of pushing them all the way to the back. It kind of bothered me that mine didn't feel good that way. So I just push them back because that just feels better to me. So make sure that you go, make sure that you dust your everything. Hey, Zaina, or who just asked that question? Miranda, wait till the end and I'll do some questions, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to go all over the place. So I'm going to get through these and then I will answer questions. Okay. Yes, no cleaning or working on Sunday. It's Chinese New Year. No cleaning or working. You do it all this week, and then Sunday is your day of rest. Okay. All right. So dust your home. And some people don't ever dust. So if you're one of those people, dust your house. If you have the fans, dust above them, clean out your light switch or your light things. But yeah, dusting. That I think also is a very satisfying thing to do because you see the dirt on your rag or your towel or whatever you use. And I think there's something satisfying knowing you're cleaning that kind of layer off. And to me, that's kind of how it feels when I'm clearing people's energy. It's like I'm dusting. Feels good. Okay. Declutter, always foundational. Find a spot and start. Some people will they almost shut themselves down when I give some of these kind of guidelines out. Just do what you can, you guys. If you have a very cluttered house and you have lots of stuff or you have any kind of hoarding tendencies or that kind of stuff, just start with one little pile. Just one little thing. Kind of a fun little feng shui thing is you move and clean up 9 things for 9 days. Okay, so each day you clean up or move or put away 9 things. And then you stop. If you want to keep going, you can, but it's to move 9 things for 9 days, and it helps to get the energy of the decluttering moving. So you can't declutter your whole house in a week, right? You can just do little tiny things. If you have a ton of stuff that in your house is really full, just start with the main spot. Just if you have a certain chair that you sit in, we always have our little stuff around us, like start there, clean up that area. And then wherever your eye moves next for the most of it, like if there's a pile of like mail and you're like, gosh, I should open that mail. Oh, I really should organize that. Oh, that damn mail. Then that would be my next spot that I would start. Okay. Does that make sense? So just do little things. Do what you can. Okay. You can declutter this whole week, just not on Sunday. And really, if you want to on Sunday, you can. But the Chinese New Year, they recommend no work on Sunday. Okay. But you can declutter this whole week. You can start to get your whole, like I started cleaning my house over the weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend, because I knew I was going to be gone this week. And then I know the projects that I want to do this week. Okay. All right. Let the sun shine in, open those windows, open the curtains. I've been in so many homes where they never open their curtains. They just never open their curtains. And I'm like, open your curtains. Like, let some light in your house. I never makes sense to me, but I'm a sunshine girl and I like light in my house. And sometimes I know it's because it's hot or it's cold, like, temperature wise, but let some light in. Like, think of your house as you and your eyes are always closed. You never let the light in. Like, that is not going to feel good to you and doesn't feel good to your house. Let some light in, open your blinds, open your curtains, even if it's for an hour when you get home, open things up a little bit. So upstairs, a lot of times I keep my blinds closed just because it's my bedroom, and it's cold. And so we use it a little bit for insulation. But like on the weekends and stuff, I go open all those up to let some light in the house. Okay. So Don't always keep your house so closed in. Okay. All right. Let's see. Use the moon. Y'all know I love the moon. And so, yes, for Mitch too, Kimberly. Use the moon. So each month, of course, I do my full moon group clearings, which is your personal clearing. But I also use the moon for clearing in my house too. So I actually do have a couple windows where the moonlight comes in. So I don't close them right away. I let the moonlight come in. And I also clean out my wallet, clean out my purse, and I put my open wallet and my open purse in the window for a little bit or overnight, depending. And I intend that moonlight fills my wallet and my purse with abundance. It's another little feng shui tip. Okay. And a lot of us, we want more abundance right now, right? Groceries are $1 million. And so clean out your purse, clean out your wallet, get all your receipts out, straighten out your money, get all the junk out of your purse, and then put it in the window under the moonlight of a full moon. Okay. I will read some of your comments in a minute. I want to make sure I go through all these. Okay. This one I love. Change your photos, change your artwork around. So if you're really stagnant in your house and you struggle to like find a new vision, or you're not inspired, or you're just kind of, a lot of us get like that around January, February, and the house just feels just kind of, just doesn't. Take all your pictures down from all your floors, upstairs, downstairs, bathroom, everything, and then put them up in different places. Because our eyes get so used to seeing everything where it always is, right? And so our vision is never challenged and we never see something new. And so if you're trying to create a new vision, you're not really sure what that vision is, take it all down, rearrange it, and put it in different places in your house. It's so wild to do that. It completely changes the whole energy of the house. So I used to have my angels upstairs in my bedroom, and I told Eli, I'm like, I think it's just too much. They're too much in the bedroom. Like I can't sleep very well because I feel like they're talking to me all night. And so we moved them downstairs, and then I had a more peaceful thing that I moved upstairs into my bedroom, and it felt so much better rested. Like I got better rest. And we moved some things from in my office back into the house, and from the house out to my office. And so you take everything down and put it all in new places. And I think that's a really fun thing to do. I think if people have nothing else on the list, that would be the one that I would suggest the most. Okay. Because you want always to have a vision. And sometimes our visions get stale and we get bored. And so you got to move it around a little bit. Okay. Another thing around pictures or photos and things like that is if you don't have photos of fun and like yourself doing something fun, or if you have a family doing something fun, or you and your friends or things like that in your house, make this the year that you're going to create that. And so what Eli and I did is each season, because we always have like a certain kind of thing that like we always go skiing in the winter. Like that's a family thing we do. We have the camper in the summer. We do maple syruping in the spring. We do four-wheeling in the fall, like all those different things, right? And so we started intentionally taking pictures while we were having super fun. And then we would get those canvas mats, super cheap canvas mats, where they would print them, and they're not very expensive. And a lot of them do huge discounts. And on this one wall, every season, we change out our pictures. So we have something new up there. And so right now it's got our ski pictures up there and a couple of my favorite pictures when we were on this great ski vacation that we did a couple years ago. And then in the spring, I usually change it to some camper stuff because I'm ready for the camper. And we do some lake pictures in the summer. But that's a great, fun way to kind of shift out the energy. And it reminds you that you're supposed to have fun. Like you're supposed to have fun, and life is supposed to have fun. So put some memories of fun. Like if you have a picture from a vacation where you and your husband fought the whole time, not a great choice. But if you have a picture that, you and your husband, maybe it was your honeymoon, or maybe it was an anniversary trip, or just a fun trip with your friends, put it up on the wall so you start to bring more and attract more of that energy in. Okay. I just put them in the closet. They're not very big. And we have no storage space in this house. So if you clean out all your shit out of your house, you have storage space. So yeah, we just put them in the closet. But it's so fun to be able to bring out those pictures every year because it shifts our energy. And we're like, oh, camper pictures are coming out. All right. And usually every year I'll get maybe one that I'll rearrange. And then Foster has his own apartment now. So I'm like, hey, you want to take this one? And then I'm going to put this one up. And again, they're not very expensive. That's why we did it that way, because they're not expensive. And it reminds me why I do my work and why Eli gets a job. It's not to pay our bills. It's to take our family on more vacations, or it's to travel more, or it's to create more pictures like that, create more memories. So put happy on your walls. Okay. I actually really prefer artwork from artists that I know or have met. I don't do a lot of like Target pictures and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with those. You can absolutely do those. But Eli and I thought it was really fun to meet artists and then buy one of their pieces. And our neighbor is an artist. And so we've got a couple of his pieces as well. But that was something that I thought, I love that. It was Eli's suggestion and I loved it because it brought that life, that creative energy into our house. And we're both super creative, as are our kids. And so I wanted that creative energy in the house. Okay. Yes, Karen, I agree. Doing like holiday sheets and stuff like that, or towels in your bathrooms, things like that. Have some fun with some of that stuff. I always change up like my little hand towels in the kitchen, or at the camper. I always have fun hand towels. Those things are super easy ways to update your house. So some people will go on a vacation and then when they come back, they're just like, I don't know, my house just bleh. And I'm always like, do something, get some new throw pillows or get a new throw, or have a party with your friends where everyone brings a box of stuff they don't want and trade, because your friends probably are sick of their stuff too, but it's probably great stuff. And so do some trade parties. Okay. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. And then the last one, number 10, clean your windows. You want clear vision. A lot of times you guys will see me cleaning my glasses when I get on here, because as soon as the computer's on, I'm like, oh, geez, my glasses are so dirty. Clean your windows. And so my whole she shed is all windows. And so there's many days where I'm like, oh, I need a new vision. I got to clean my windows. Cleaning your windows in your house, cleaning the mirrors, cleaning your front window, cleaning the windows on your vehicle, all of that kind of stuff, because that's our vision. We want clear vision. And so a lot of times when you're going through big stuff in your life, your vision changes. And I've noticed people, lots of people, that as they get kind of more aligned with themselves and they get more sure and confident, and they kind of know, they're really clear on their vision and all of those things, it starts to change their vision, and their eyes start to either get better, or they just start to see more clear and they don't need their glasses. Like, it's so fast. I've seen that with so many of my friends, that as the older they get and the more experience they get and the more clear they get, their vision changes and they don't need the glasses anymore. So funny. Okay. So that's my top 10 basic things. Now, in the little bundle that we created, I also have top 10 things that you can do to get your house ready specifically for the Chinese New Year. So if you want to get all those tips and tricks, go ahead and grab that package. It's $8. And there's a clearing meditation on there. But one fun thing that I will teach you about the Chinese New Year that I think was the most fun of it all, get yourself some oranges. Okay. They're very abundant. It's a joy thing. It's abundance. It's all the good stuff. And on the Chinese New Year Sunday, you open your front door and everyone rolls them in with the intention, whatever you set your intention for, and you roll them into your front door. And so we've been doing this for the last few years. And a couple years ago, we were doing an expo in Montana. And I told Lori about this. I was like, hey, it's Chinese New Year tomorrow. We should get some oranges and we should roll them in the door. And she, I don't know how many oranges she got, because I think we must have had 80 vendors. So she got enough oranges for all the vendors and all of us that brought helpers. And before we opened the door that morning, all of us had our oranges and we rolled them into the door with our intentions and all of our wishes for the year. And it was so fun. Also very fun for kids. Make sure they're rolling them. Don't let them throw them or they're going to break something in your house. You can also put some cinnamon in your hand, and you could do this every full moon, or no, it's the first day of the month, or the Chinese New Year, and you blow the cinnamon in. That's also abundance as well. Okay. Do the front door of your house. Okay, let me read some of these. And if you have questions now on your homes or space clearing, I'm not doing readings, but if you want to ask about some space clearing stuff, let me know. Okay. Miranda said she got a question I have. Cleared my house with sage, but I feel like the energy is more crazy. Can this happen? Sometimes it can, especially if you need to like let the energy out. That's why I would say open your windows a little bit. Sometimes it's showing you where you need to put some attention. So if things are crazy after you sage, then more than likely there is something that you need to address, whether you need to get out and move more, you need to get outside more, you need to open the windows a little bit. But yeah, sometimes that can happen. First winter, I opened the curtains. Yep, makes a difference. Yeah, no working on the Chinese New Year, my friends. I will be doing readings that evening. So that's not going to be work though, because I'm volunteering. So I am going to be here next Sunday at 7 p.m. doing free readings. Oh, Sue, see, isn't that interesting? Sometimes that happens. So she said she had a very mild case of COVID. I'm glad it was mild. And she's normally a go, go, go person. So this is good for those of you that always clean. And this made me stay home, stop and look around. I vacuumed, burned some incense, opened the blinds, rearranged in my home office, and it feels much better. Yeah. Yeah, yep. I like the art thing too. Janice said, Spirit brings me art pieces that call to my soul all the time and at a very reasonable price. Yeah, Cassandra said, as I work on my intuition, my vision has gotten better. I didn't think anything of it. Yep. Like now, if I'm watching TV, I actually have to take my glasses off. And before I would need my glasses to watch TV. Yep. No sweeping on Sunday. I have my home for sale, something more specific for that. So if your home is for sale, some of the things that I would tell people to do. So there's kind of some fun little things that you could do. So you might want to go out. Wintertime, it's a little bit harder to do this, but it's nice to have two like on each side of your step. If you have a front step, to put two, like in the summer, I would say go get 2 flower pots with red flowers in it. But maybe you could do like pine needles with some red ribbon or something. So you have 2 things of red on your front step. You could also take a bag of bird seed and you go around the property line and you put that bird seed out with the intention that I take care of the universe and feed the universe. So the universe is going to feed me. And so you can put the bird seed around the whole perimeter of your house just as a gift to the universe to bring someone to open your house. You want to make sure your house knows that you're selling it, which I know sounds really funny, but you want to tell your house that you're selling it. This is why, and this is why you're grateful to have been living in the house and what the house gave you. You might want to do a thank you note to your house. A lot of people forget that. And you might want to let the house know that, hey, you know what? This house would be great for a new family, someone that maybe they just got married and they haven't had kids yet. And this would be a great starter home. And like let all that out on paper so the universe knows. I also tell people to picture your house in your head with a for sale sign in the front, of course, but then I have them put like big, huge, like billboard lights up energetically that said, house is for sale, come here, and energetically put the for sale sign out in the universe as well. A lot of people, depending where your price is set, you want the numbers to add up to a 9. Now, sometimes realtors fight against that because they don't understand what we're doing. but you want to add each number and then have the total number end up in a 9, because 9 is about releasing it to the universe. Okay. And so that might be something you could do too. You could also, if you're going to do like an open house weekend or something, bake cookies, bake bread, that's kind of a real estate trick. But I think whatever you can do to make your house look as clutter-free as possible, sage it maybe a few days before someone's going to come see it. And just thank your house. Be very in big gratitude and let your house know where you're going and what your plans are. So the house can absolutely help you as well. Okay. I clear a lot of people's homes when they're for sale. It helps a lot. I have lots of success stories on that. Not every single one, but I have a lot of success stories that once I clear the house sells. I don't think it'll take long though, Alyssa. Okay, counters are always covered. The house wants updated counters, but I don't want the clutter. I would get a couple cute baskets to put the clutter in, and then let the house know that you will update the counters when you can. But one kind of fun thing, this is what we did when we wanted carpet in the house. Like, we wanted carpet in the house. We needed carpet in the house, and we had no money for carpet in the house. And so I went to a friend's house. She's a real estate agent, and she had this big piece of carpet. And I was like, if I had carpet in my house, that's what I'd want. And she goes, oh, you should take that home. And then when you're ready, you can show the carpet people what you want. And when I got it home, my spirit said, put that right between the living room and the bathroom. Like, just lay it right down. And every time you walk on it, tell it how fun you are, how fun it is that you're going to have new carpet. I'm so excited to have this new carpet in my house. Oh my God, isn't this beautiful? I got new carpet in my house. And every time I stepped on that carpet was a lot, because I pee all the time. I would affirm that I'm going to have new carpet in my house. Within 6 weeks, I had new carpet in the house. So you may want to get like a little sample of what kind of cupboard you want, or something. It doesn't have to be the one, but something close to what you probably will end up getting, and put it on the cupboard with a little thing on the back that says something about, I'm so excited for my new cupboards, and then have that on the cupboard so the cupboard knows. And then if someone says, oh, are you getting new cupboards? Yes, I am. Well, when? I'm not sure yet, but they're coming, because when they do, that's what I'm going to have. That's what I would do, Cassandra. But I would get a couple cute baskets to put the clutter in, because that doesn't help either. Do you roll the oranges into the actual door out? So I stand and roll them into my house. Okay. So you don't roll them out of the house. You roll them in the house. So I open my front door and I set the intention and I roll them into my house. And your cats and dogs will think you're nuts. Yep. No laundry there's no chores or work on Sunday. No chores, no laundry, no sweeping, no cleaning, no cooking. So cook something good on Saturday night so you can just have leftovers and like fun stuff on Sunday. It's a day of just enjoy. Go for a walk, go outside, go do something with your family, watch Netflix. No cooking, cleaning, anything like that. How interesting. So Joanne said, I sage my house and have taken other clearing classes with you. Since doing so lately, I feel like my house doesn't like me, wondering if I did something wrong. You can never, ever, ever make your house worse. That's a really good subject to talk about. When you clear something, or you're learning how to clear something, I was afraid. I was always afraid I was going to mess it up even worse. That's not how energy works. It's not how spirit works. They would never want you to do something to make it worse. Okay. So you didn't do anything to screw it up. What I would ask, I would get quiet with my house. Okay. There's 2 parts to this. Number 1, I would ask my house, what do you need? Because it feels like you don't like me. So I would say I would get really quiet and be like, okay, house, like, what's up? Like, I feel like you don't like me. What's going on? The other house that I would actually sit with more, Joanne, is I would sit with my house, my body, my mind, my spirit. And I'd be like, okay, what's happening internally that I'm thinking that I don't like myself, or my house doesn't like me? Like, what is that about? It feels more internal, because this is your house, right? but our houses, our homes reflect our house. So there's something internal that you need to look at, Joanne. And you might even need to do some journaling. Maybe there's something about yourself. Maybe I don't know, maybe you yelled at your kids or you were rude to somebody or something, and something inside of you isn't liking it, or you haven't forgiven yourself, or something's trying to clean itself up internally. It's not really about your outside house, it's about your inside house. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, Janice, I'm so glad you asked this question. I wanted to bring this up. So she said, my money tree hasn't been happy in this house, and it shows in my finances. I'm feeling it's cursed with old energy, and I should let it go and buy a new one. Okay, so I don't think it's cursed, but I'm so happy you brought this up. So a few years ago, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, my mentor was coming to town, and she was going to use my house to see clients and stuff like that at one point. And I was like, holy shit, I got to clean up my house. I'm having like this person that I have so much respect for coming into my house, and she's really sensitive to energy. So I wanted my house clean, right? And I had my friend Danny come over, and because she loves cleaning, loves it. I don't. I like the results. She likes to clean. And I was like, holy shit, she's coming. Can you come help? And she goes, yep, let's do it on Sunday. And as we were clearing and decluttering some stuff and cleaning, she was taking some of this stuff that I had set up back when I would have my house feng shuied, and they're called cures, and like some of them were like little globes, and some of them were little statues and different things like that. And she said, when you see these now, where does your head go? And I said, honestly, every time I see them, I think of how broke we were when I did that. Like it was a desperate way to try to get my finances better. And I felt really, I like feng shui a lot, but at the time that I was putting those things out, we were very desperate, or I was very desperate. And I said, so when I look at them, like my face does, like, I don't like them. And she's like, we got to get rid of them. And they were still beautiful things, but they just didn't fit my vibe anymore, because I was in a much different mindset. Our money was much different. The way I took care of my money was different. My business was different. So the energy of those things, for example, the money tree just didn't fit. And so I just packed it up, and I asked if any of my friends wanted any of it. And then the other stuff, I think I just donated to the thrift store or something. So sometimes your stuff, you've just outgrown it, and you've outgrown the energy of it. And so I would just pass it to somebody that maybe needs it, or you could sell it, or whatever you want to do. But sometimes it's not cursed. That's just putting some energy, like it's not cursed. It is just energy that doesn't fit you any longer. Okay. Great question though. I love that, Barb. I have asked houses that I have sold to find the perfect people that will love it as much as we did. It has worked every time. The people in my old houses have commented how happy they have been. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I actually have several realtors that I work with, and I clear their houses for them and teach them some of those little tricks to work with the people so they can bring in the beautiful families. Sue, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you move it to a different room? I don't know what you're talking about. Put it all in one thing, Sue. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, good, Alyssa. Good. I'm glad that made sense to you. So Tony said, we're looking for someone to stay in our house and also care for our cat. Would I clear and create intentions the same way as selling? Yes, I would do very similar. And I actually have a website, a client of mine leaves for 3 or 4 months out of the winter. And so there's a website that you can go, and it's very extensive. But she had some good luck on it. And then, of course, ask people that you know, because personal people is great. But maybe send me an email or a message, Tony, and I can get the website from her. I can't remember, but I'm talking to her tomorrow. But yep, you would just set the same intentions. I would also talk to your cat and make sure your cat knows that you're leaving for a couple months and where you're going and why you're leaving and what you're doing, because they're fine with that, but you need to give them the plan and then ask them what they want in a caretaker. So what's interesting with this one friend of mine that does this every year, every time her cats have had a male in the house. And I'm like, it's so funny. They always have a guy stay at your house. And she goes, I know, it's so weird. And they're the sweetest men, the sweetest guys, and they're handy, and in case anything happened in the wintertime. But when she asked her cats, they wanted a man. And so I make sure you're talking to your cats. You guys got to talk to your animals when you do stuff. So like last summer when I went to the lake a lot, like I had to explain to Ruby, like, hey, I'm not going to be home a lot. I'm going to go to the lake this summer. And she wasn't really happy about it, but she's like, all right, I get it. So make sure that you know about that. Sage or do Palo Santo. So I don't like Palo Santo for me. I like the smell of it a lot, but it gives me a migraine. So I don't use that for myself. I use sage. But some people like it, some people don't. I would just ask the cat what he wants in a caretaker. Yep, Jill, exactly. Yep. Oh, this is great too. Great question, Zaina. So she said, I was afraid if I cleared my house, my good spirits, her parents, would leave. But thanks to your prayer, I'm very specific for that, which doesn't serve me or belong to me should leave. Yep. So I just set intentions that anything that no longer serves me or any dense energy or, whatever you want to say leaves. The good stuff doesn't leave, you guys. I actually get that question. It's probably one of my most asked questions when I clear a space. Is if you clear my space, are you going to take my mom and grandma away from me? I'm like, no, we never get rid of your guides, your angels, your loved ones, your deceased loved one. Never, never, never. That is not what we're clearing energy for. We're clearing energy so your space can actually hold you in a safe and nurturing space. And so that we're not trying to hold her house. Like there's some houses you walk into and they're so heavy and dense because it's like you kind of have to hold them up. And that is not how it's meant to be. Your house is supposed to hold you, and it's supposed to let you grow and expand, and it's there to hold you in that space. And so I love to clear houses at this time of year around the Chinese New Year and around full moons and all the different cool dates, because it's such a clean slate, and it sets the energy for the new year. And so you can grow and expand into it. Okay. So if people are wanting their house more deeply cleared, and several of you have said I've cleared your houses before, so you can probably speak better than I can to it. But this is a great weekend to have me clear spaces for you guys. So if anyone's interested in that, make sure you email or get a hold of me so I can get you on my schedule. And most of them are remote at this point. Okay. All right. We're gonna get rid of that dude. Okay. So all my space clearings are typically $350, and I do most of them remote at this point, Brittany. And that includes a follow-up and a reading as well. Alyssa, say what I've been freaking out to have Sunny be in my home. I was freaking out. It was super funny. I don't think I would freak out now, but it was still kind of early in my relationship with her. And I was like, holy shit, Sunny's coming to my house. Oh no. And she is so not, she wouldn't have given a shit if my house was a mess. But I was like, oh, but it sure felt awesome when we got it ready. It was super funny. Oh, her money tree. Okay, Sue. Moving it to another room, I don't think for the strong feeling she has with it, I don't think that would work. I would tell her to move it out of the house because of the emotion and kind of the mindset she has around it. I would just have her move it away. I found just rearranging stuff around the house gives a different vibe. Yep. Every time I had lots and lots of different jobs before I found this one. And I would work at the place for a year, and then I would help them and tell them they need to rearrange and they need to paint and they need to upgrade. And then I would leave like 2 weeks later and go get a new job, and I would do the same thing. I had no idea I was helping them clear energy, but that's what I was doing. So super funny. I just burnt a pair of painting sweats that took me backwards. I have old fish tank stuff. Met a guy that has fish, told him he could have it. Yep, exactly. Yep. And if you guys don't like sage, if you don't like sage, some of the things that you could do is you could light the candles. You could stay in the middle. Sunny actually taught me this. You can stand in the middle of your house and you can just get into a really loving space, and you can just imagine that energy of love, and you can just send love out to every corner, every inch, basement, upstairs, closets, washing machine, everything. And you can just send the energy of love to your house. I think that is a beautiful, easy, free thing that anyone in the world could do. You just send love to every little inch of your house. So I do that a lot if I don't want to have that sage smell. Keaton hates the smell of sage. So he does not appreciate when I sage. So I try to do it when he's going to be working or something. But you can do the space sprays. You can do unscented candles with just the intention that that's going to do it. You can do green fire. So I learned that from Sunny as well. So green fire, you do not want to burn your house down. So what I do for green fire is I have a big, huge pot I got at like a secondhand store, like a spaghetti pot, and it's big. And then I have a little bowl that I put on the bottom of it. Okay. And then you get Epsom salts, and you just put like, I don't know, I make a little pile, and then I put a hole in the middle is how I do it. And then a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Do not start your house on fire, and don't use a cup of rubbing alcohol. You use like a few capfuls, and you put it in the middle, and then you light that, and then that's green fire, and that clears the energy beautifully. So both Sunny and myself and several colleagues that I have, we use that if there's been a suicide or a death in the house, because there's something to it. Now Sunny does it and puts it in the tub, and she just intends for it to clear the whole house. I actually walk room to room with it, because for me that just felt better. But you have to be very careful so you don't put too much rubbing alcohol in it. And if you put too little, it's not going to start on it. It won't have a flame. But when you burn it, it burns greenish blue, and it's super funny because you can tell in the room immediately. And so that's a beautiful way to do it too. So you can do the green fire as well. Okay. What other questions do you have, my friends? So again, if you want to get on my list for the Chinese New Year space clearing, remote space clearings I'm doing, I don't have them on sale or anything, but it's a beautiful time to do a clearing. It sets the energy very, very beautifully. And so if you want that, it includes the clearing, a reading, and a phone call. So we do the reading and the phone call kind of in the same phone. So we go over what happened in the house. And then if you have other questions, we talk about it. It's kind of one of my services where you get the most bang for your buck. Okay. I also we have that little $8 bundle for the Chinese New Year. You get 2 PDFs and a clearing that you can listen to that will help you move all the past energy of 2022 and move you into 2023. Okay. I put a little bowl just for another safety measure. You don't have to put a bowl in the bottom, Janice. I just do because to me it just is safe. But you don't have to. I actually have a pot at the lake, and I just put it right in the bottom. But I like to clean the bowl when I get done, and so it just keeps the pot a little bit better. So for the new or Chinese New Year bundle, I think that's what you're talking about. You can follow this link. The link might not show up until I'm off, though, you guys. Chinese New Year. bundle. That's $8. And the clearing on that is about a half an hour long. Where'd that guy go? Nope, Wesley, you're out of here. Okay, see, we got all the weirdos coming on here now. Get out. No. When you guys see these weird things that says I have a message for you from ancestors, don't do that. Okay? They're just spammers. Don't do it. Okay, there we go. All right, what other questions do you guys have on space clearing? Okay, space clearing, Chinese New Year. So this week, clean your house. I also said clean your fridge, stock up, get some oranges, make sure you start your day. And here's what I would love to see is if you do the orange roll into your house, I would love for you to videotape it and then tag me in the video, because we did that one year and it was so fun to see everybody do that. Oh my God, it was so much fun. And I would love to hear from you guys. We have quite a few people on. I would love to know how many people would be interested in an in-person clearing class in the spring here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, because I keep getting a hit to do one. I haven't done one for years, and I would like to do one. And it would either be a Thursday through a Sunday or a Friday through a Sunday kind of class, but it would be a big class. Okay. Yes, dowsing rods. Eli just made another batch of dowsing rods, so I will do a separate video and show people some of that, Linda. Can I do sage spray in the room I'm not comfortable in? Absolutely, Erica. And you can also, you could also do holy water. Sometimes if the room is really a strong energy that you really don't like and the sage isn't quite cutting it, you can go to a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic, but you can still go to a Catholic church. You can get some of their holy water, and that is a beautiful clearing tool. I have a long story for that one. I'll tell another day, but that is another thing that you can do. If the sage spray just isn't quite cutting it for you, go get some holy water. I would do a separate orange I think everyone gets their own orange, Aubrey. I give Eli an orange. I get an orange. Kids get an orange. Yeah, the orange thing is really fun, and the kids love to do it. And and some kids, my kids never wanted to kind of like put their intentions out there, so they would just kind of say it to themselves. But some of them are pretty cute if you can get your kids to do it. Class sounds fun. Good. Yes, Florida water is another one. That one gives me a headache too, but a lot of colleagues use Florida water. It's another spray, and it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful smell and stuff. It just, for whatever reason, gets headaches. You can use moon water. Moon water, there's a lot of opinions on moon water, because some people will flip out if you do it on some certain moon, and some moon you shouldn't do it, la. I always say use your intuition, and if you like that moon, go ahead and make moon water, and you can spray it around. Yeah, absolutely, you can do Florida ocean water for sure. Salt water, absolutely. You could always fly home, Jill. You know how to clear, though. Yeah, I think it's a fun thing to do for kids. And then you can tell them, we're kind of doing this celebration because the energy is shifting, and teach them about the energy. Everyone should have their own intentions, Jerry. So everyone gets to either put their own intentions in the orange, or their own wishes, or what they want to bring in for the year. I always kind of hold my orange to my heart, and I put my intentions, maybe put your word of the year. You can just send some love into the orange and roll it in, things like that. I always ask for lots of laughter. I always ask for lots of joy and travel, because I love to travel so much. Abundance, of course, like all that kind of stuff. and then you can roll it into your house. So moon water, you just get a container. A lot of people use jars, and you set it out in the window or outside. See, we couldn't really do it here because it would turn to ice. It'd be moon ice. Set it outside or in a window where the moon light hits it, and you keep it there all night, and then that's moon water. It's kind of charged by the moon. Yeah, I like Sunny's high vibe spray as well. Yep, Vibe Razor, hers is called. You know what? I actually, Aubrey, that's a great question, because I was like, so what do we do with the oranges after we throw them in the house? And I ate it. And I honestly would have to look it up to see what you should do with them. But here's my thought on it. I thought I put all that energy, all that intention, and all that love into my orange. And so I'm going to eat it because I'm going to pull it in, and I'm going to set that intention within my physical body, because I already did it in my energetic and in my mind. And then I used the orange peels in a simmer pot on my stove that day. And I added some cinnamon and some different things. And so then I put the orange peels in the simmer pot. So I used all pieces of the orange. So we ate it, and then we used it for the simmer pot, because to me, that felt right. Yep, you can definitely use my naughty spirit spray. I was going to show it to you, but I must have taken it inside, because of course that's a spicy one. Okay, what other questions you guys got? Isn't this fun? This was pretty fun for you guys, huh? Hopefully you learned just a little something new, or maybe you remembered some foundational stuff. Roll the orange on the Chinese New Year. So that would be on Sunday morning. Actually, you can do it any time of the day. I know we've done it in like after school when the kids got home. But on Chinese, on the day, which is the 22nd, the Chinese New Year's Eve, you can have a beautiful meal. You can get your flowers. You can get your house all ready, all that kind of good stuff. Good. I'm glad it's fun. I think it's fun. I love doing stuff like this. So I will also be doing readings at 7 p.m. Central on the night of the Chinese New Year, which is Sunday night. So next Sunday night, I will be here doing free readings for all of you. And we have kind of fun little announcements. You might want to join. This week, we're going to have that bundle for you guys for $8 and do the clearings and all that kind of fun stuff. And then if you want a more deeper clearing, or you want me to really get into your house, then this is the good week to schedule that with me. And I usually end up clearing the houses for about 2 weeks, and then we do a follow-up call, and we go through everything in your house. And then if you have questions, it's not a class, it's just a downloadable thing. I made that downloadable so you could listen to it anytime you'd like to. So when I get off, I'll post it. So it's easier to find. I don't think it shows up when I post it in StreamYard until after I'm off. Carla, yes. She goes, I've been doing these things since last year, and I feel much more energetic. Absolutely. It works, you guys. If you start to pay attention to the energy of things and the energy around things, then you can do a lot of healing work. And you can start to shift things, because you're like, oh, I can feel the energy around that. It's usually not what you think it is. It's usually the energy around it. So like there's always this shit around money for people. And it's never about the money. It's about all the mindset and the emotion and the training and the habits and all that kind of stuff. So then you got to start working on all the stuff around it. I would start looking at those, Jerry, and I would start to create, like, if you can catch. So her question is, how can I clear negative feelings inside of me over fear and not deserving? And so there's lots of different things you could do. You could definitely energetically, you could work with the full moon clearings as a baby step. You could do some personal clearings with me, of course. You can start to, if you could catch whatever it is that you keep saying and affirming over and over, like maybe like one of the things I would say is, we're so broke. Like that was always a thing that I would say. And so I had to create an affirmation about, and it was more about me not feeling like I was enough, right? Just like what you said. And not deserving. And so I am enough, therefore I have enough. I created an affirmation that was really, really strong inside of me, and I said it a million times over. And so you might want to figure out what it is you're saying to yourself, like the shitty stuff that you're saying, and then figure out a way to flip it so you have some positive affirmations. And I would post them everywhere. I would set alarms on your phone. I would say them all the time. A little trick that Sunny taught us was drink a lot of water. So every time you go and you pee, you have to say your affirmation 100 times, and then you go drink more water. So you have to pee, so you have to say it more times. So you can use a lot of those little tricks. But I would start with figuring out the negative things that you keep saying to yourself, flip them into something positive, and then start affirming that. So you start to shift that energy internally. Okay. You just have to start somewhere. And that's where I would have you start as affirmations, because it's the fastest way you could do it. And start to find an affirmation that brings tears to your eyes, because you know deep down that's more the truth. Because it's not true that you're not deserving, and it's not true that you need to be scared all the time. Fear was a big one for me as well. And so that actually started me on a lot of this work with my spirit team, because one of the things I just started to affirm is I am safe in this moment. Because right now I am safe right now. In this moment, I am safe. And so I would affirm that a lot. And I would start asking my guides and angels to surround me, so I could sense or feel or just know that I had some energy around me, because I didn't necessarily feel like I had support in the outside world at the time. And so I started working with my angels, and I kept asking them to bring me different big signs that I wouldn't miss. So I knew they were around me as well. Okay. Just start somewhere, Jerry. Love you too, Kelly. Peggy, her question was, what can I do in my office at work? So much negativity. I won't be able to sage or burn a candle. So I would invest in some selenite. So this is selenite. So you could do so this one is much smaller. So I would get some selenite, whether you do a big one or a little one, or I don't have the light on, but there's lots of different sizes of these. This is a selenite tower, and it's heavy. They really, really, really help with absorbing negative energy. And a lot of us that do this kind of energy work have selenite towers in our office. I have a big, huge one in my house. I love it. But the towers are typically not very expensive, and they usually have a light in them, so you can just turn the light on, or you can just get these are super cheap. So you could get some selenite, and I would put it, whether it's in your office or your cubicle, works on both. You could also do the sprays. You could also just send love out to the office. You could also you could play really happy music. That helps. You could also fill the office space with a rainbow of energy every morning. I used to do that in a really toxic place that I worked. I would surround myself in a rainbow, and then I kept spreading it around the whole room. And the really, really nasty people would just leave because they don't like rainbow energy. So you can do that. You can ask your angels to help clear the energy. You could bring in white light into the office space. So there's a few things like that you could do, but a really one that you might want to keep close to you is some selenite. I think that would be really helpful. You're welcome, Jerry. Yep, black tourmaline also. Yep, piece of selenite. Yep. Oh, that's a good idea too, Janice. She bought a peace plant for the office. That's a great idea too. Yeah, try some of those and see if that works. Offices can be tricky because you can't control everyone else in the office, right? So you have to get really mindful, like, what can I do that you're not gonna smoke them out with sage and stuff like that. And the easiest thing I think is getting some selenite. You could even get little tiny pieces of selenite and put it in each corner of the office and tell the cleaning people to leave it there. Sometimes they play along. Not always, but sometimes. Okay. Any other last questions, my friends? Again, if you want a full space clearing, email me, jody@jodyharvala.com. I'm doing remote ones this weekend. Not on Sunday, but I'm going to do them on Chinese New Year's Eve. And then make sure I will post the $8 Chinese New Year bundle for you. Well, ask your angels to help you find it, Miss Janice. Maybe if someone has some hits, they can comment. Okay, one other announcement too. On the 31st, if you have taken your Naughty Spirit quiz, or if you need to take it, go ahead and take it. And then we are doing a class that night on all the personalities for Naughty Spirit, and I'm freaking excited for it. And so that is another, and we're doing that one super cheap too, only $9 for that. So I will put all those links up on my wall, and they'll be on the website, and they'll be wherever you can find them. No worries. But this week, I want you to focus on clearing. Okay. Get your house ready for the Chinese New Year. All right, friends. Thank you for joining me. Love, love, love. And I will look and see if there's any other questions throughout this week. Definitely go ahead and reach out if you need to. And then get your house ready and get your intentions ready. And let's have a really good Chinese New Year. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great night. I will see you again soon. See ya.